4:42 local time. The radar picture doesn't flicker. It blooms. One contact becomes 3. 3 become 12, then 20. The tactical action officer doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Multiple high-speed tracks. Low altitude. Bearing 085. Closing. Silence inside combat. Everyone knows what that means. This is no longer shadowing. This is no longer signaling. This is an attack profile. And in this moment, Iran and Russia stop testing the United States Navy and start gambling. The first wave comes in low, very low, small radar cross-sections, sea skimming, riding ground clutter, drones, dozens of them, launched from the Iranian coastline less than 90 nautical miles away. But they aren't flying blind. 300 miles north, a Russian maritime patrol aircraft adjusts its orbit. Its radar sweeps wide arcs across the Gulf. Electronic emissions spike. Data is moving. Targeting data. This isn't improvisation. This is coordination. And coordination changes everything. Time to impact. 9 minutes. 9 minutes sounds manageable. It isn't, because drones aren't the real threat. They're the doorbell. On the American flagship, the admiral watches the composite picture merge, ship radars, airborne early warning, satellite cueing, electronic intercepts. He doesn't wait. Condition 1. Weapons free. Across the carrier strike group, steel doors seal. Missile cells unlock. Electronic warfare suites power to full output. And then vertical launch systems erupt. Standard missiles punch into the sky one after another, arcing outward toward the inbound swarm. Each interceptor costs more than the house most people live in. Each drone costs less than a pickup truck. Cost exchange warfare. But cost doesn't matter if you win the exchange. Within 45 seconds, 8 drones disintegrate midair. But the swarm doesn't collapse. It adapts. Half the remaining drones drop lower, barely 40 feet above the waterline. 2 climb sharply. 1 detonates prematurely. That's not a malfunction. It's probing. They're testing reaction times. At 0445, something more dangerous appears. New tracks. Faster, cleaner. Mach 0.8 and accelerating. Anti-ship cruise missiles, launched from mobile platforms along the Iranian coast, and almost certainly cued by Russian ISR assets. This isn't harassment anymore. This is layered strike doctrine. Drones to saturate. Cruise missiles to kill. The strike group shifts instantly. Cruisers reposition to create overlapping radar arcs. Destroyers spread just enough to widen intercept geometry without breaking mutual support. This is decades of doctrine executing in seconds. The first cruise missile briefly rises to refine targeting. That climb costs it everything. An SM-6 launches, Mach 3+. The intercept happens 17 miles out. A white flash over dark water. 7 more inbound. Now it's seconds. Missile 2 gets through the outer layer. 10 miles. 8, 5. Close-in weapon systems spin up, 6-barrel cannons screaming at thousands of rounds per minute. At 1.8 miles, the interceptor hits. The blast wave rocks the forward deck. Fragments rain down close enough to rattle antennas, too close. Close enough to remind everyone in combat that this is not a simulation. But the sea isn't done, because 70 nautical miles east, Iranian fast attack craft surge out of concealed inlets, 40 of them, high speed. Low profile, armed with rockets and anti-ship missiles, swarm doctrine, overwhelmed through volume. Every naval strategist has gamed this scenario. Small boats are hard to track, harder to prioritize, deadly if they close inside missile range. The carrier's flight deck erupts. 2 FMA-18 Super Hornets launch heavy and fast. They won't let the swarm close. 30 miles out, the first anti-ship missile drops. Sea skimming, autonomous terminal seeker. The lead fast attack craft disappears in a vertical plume of flame and spray. The formation fractures, exactly what the pilots want. But one boat breaks pattern. It accelerates straight toward the outer destroyer screen. Not evasive, committed. At 12 miles, it fires. A short-range anti-ship missile arcs low over the water. This one wasn't supposed to get a shot off. Combat goes quiet again. 1 missile. Very low. Fast. The destroyer fires an interceptor. But the geometry is bad. The missile keeps coming. 4 miles. 3. CIWS opens fire. The sea erupts in tracers. At less than 1 mile, the incoming missile shatters. Debris skips across the water. Some fragments strike the hull. Minor damage. No casualties. But now it's real. Iran just put a missile within seconds of impact on a US warship, and Russia is still feeding the battlefield. Two Russian fighters edge closer to contested airspace. High altitude, fast, shadowing. American stealth aircraft already airborne pivot toward them silently. The Russian pilots don't see them on radar. But their electronic warning receivers start chirping. They've been locked. Softly, deliberately, a message without words. The Russian jets turn away. Satellites do not. US cyber teams confirm the data links. Russian space-based ISR has been cueing Iranian launch platforms in near real time. Joint targeting, joint escalation, and that triggers phase 2. The response isn't emotional, it's mathematical. At 5:14, 2 US submarines beneath the surface receive execution codes. Tomahawk cruise missiles launch in staggered sequence. No warning, no radio traffic, just columns of fire punching through the dawn. Flight time, under 30 minutes. Targets, coastal missile batteries. Drone command nodes. Over-the-horizon radar sites. The missiles fly low, 50 feet above the sea, navigating via terrain contour matching and hardened GPS. On the Iranian coast, radar operators see fragments of the picture too late. Electronic warfare aircraft orbit outside engagement range, flooding tracking frequencies. Signals degrade. Screens blur. Some batteries attempt to relocate. They won't make it. At 5:41, the first impact vaporizes a mobile missile launcher preparing for a second salvo. Minutes later, a long-range coastal radar goes dark permanently. Drone control stations explode. Command trucks vanish. Not total destruction, but systemic paralysis. And then, something unexpected happens. A Russian signals vessel north of the Gulf goes dark. Its emissions cease. Its radar shuts down. The message is understood. Escalation has limits. At 06:03, Russian long-range bombers adjust course south. That movement is tracked instantly. American early warning aircraft shift. Stealth fighters reposition. Ballistic missile defense ships reorient north. This is the razor's edge. One missile launch here could spiral beyond containment. For 12 tense minutes, the world holds its breath. At 06:15, the bombers turn back. No launch, no further push. The crisis peaks and begins to cool. But the scoreboard is clear. Dozens of drones destroyed. Multiple cruise missiles intercepted. Fast attack swarms shattered. Coastal launch systems neutralized. Minor damage to one destroyer. Zero strategic effect achieved. And a very public demonstration delivered. The United States Navy doesn't rely on one shield. It layers them: detection, electronic attack, outer intercept, inner intercept, close-in guns, air dominance, subsurface strike, space integration. Challenge one layer, you meet the next. Challenge all of them at once, and you trigger something bigger than a naval skirmish. Because when the first drone launched, it didn't just wake up a destroyer's radar. It activated satellites, cyber units, stealth fighters, submarines, strategic command networks. Modern naval warfare isn't about who fires first. It's about who integrates fastest. Iran and Russia attempted a coordinated probe. Drones, cruise missiles, swarm boats, air pressure, space-based targeting. It was bold, layered, calculated. But they underestimated the speed of response, and they underestimated how quickly a demonstration can become a message. By 8 hours, the carrier strike group resumes patrol. Flight operations continue. Radar rotations normalize. From a distance, it looks routine. But every military planner watching knows what just happened. A test was conducted, a line was crossed, and the answer was delivered. Not with rhetoric, but with layered, measured force. The sea remains open. The patrol continues. But somewhere in a coastal command bunker, someone is replaying those last 90 seconds before intercept and understanding that at sea, escalation is no longer a gamble. It's a calculation. And this time, they calculated wrong.